Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Here's our preview of the second test between England and India, starting on Wednesday at Edgbaston. Before we chat about the second test, let's quickly talk about England's first win in the first test last week at Headingley. So, Kat, what did you make of that win? It was pretty. Well, I don't know what to make of that first test. So much happened. England obviously winning by 5 wickets, epic run chase, but also there's a lot more to it, wasn't there?
Yeah, I mean, after day one, it's like you stick an opposition in and they're like 400 odd for free at the end of the day. And you wouldn't be human if you go and, are you sure you got this one right, Skip? And it's just so,
So she was like 30 degrees or whatever.
exactly. It's like, cheers, Skip. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing about
But
India. I mean, like obviously England, did great to obviously just stick at it and stay in the game, not give up, which is a brilliant trait to have and something they've got in abundance under Ben Stokes' leadership. But India, if you're Gautam Gambhir the coach, if Shubman Gill the captain, you'd be kicking yourself as a side because they were 430 for free in that first innings, and then to get bowled out for 471, and which should have been 571 at the absolute bare minimum. And then even in the second innings, they lost the last 6 wickets for 31. So yeah,
yeah,
and India were not that England played badly, but India were the better team. But they were doing all the running, but and you still lose. I mean, it's how do you recover from that?
yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like the tail was probably the difference between the two sides. I think you look at India's tail, they contributed about 45 runs between the bottom five batsmen between over the two innings, where England's contributed about 160. So they kind of our tail wagged enough to get us like pretty much close to parity with them on the first innings, and then India's both innings collapsed like a pack of cards. And it's like Josh Tongue was just like he just ran through them like their tail end like a dose of salt, didn't he? And
Mm.
it was just like they just collapsed in the heat, both innings. So yeah, I think our ability to kind of blow away the tail kind of was effectively what won the game for us. And
Yeah.
also guys like Wokes and Cast and like even Josh Tongue to an extent being able to contribute a little bit with a bat as well.
Yeah.
So I think that was, and when you chuck in India's fielding as well, I can't remember how many catches they dropped, but it was a fair few at crucial times. So yeah, I think India will feel like they've in many ways feel like they lost that game rather than England winning it in some ways. Because when you're 400 and something for free at the end of that first day, you should be dominating that game, as you say, going on to get 550, 600, and then just,
Well, you
yeah,
can't lose from there. I mean,
just so,
you might not win because of whatever, batting was batting, but or whatever, or the weather, but like you can't lose the game, and that's what they
exactly.
did.
Exactly. When you're saying to the opposition, you get like 550, 600, so you're saying you've got to get 400 just to stay in the game,
Yeah.
you know. But you
Mm.
said like 470 with this England team. It's like if they can kind of if they're kind of close on first innings, then they will feel like they can chase anything in that last innings. And it's like it's a different mentality to it. It's like it's not kind of way Stokes seems to approach it. It's like not what's going to happen in the first innings. It's kind of what's going to happen on the last innings. So it's like not necessarily looking at the conditions in the first hour, but it's like what do we think things is going to be like on the last day? It's like it's a different kind of mindset, and it's yeah, and it works to a large extent. It's kind of taking a one day mentality and saying we're going to chase rather than say like you know we're going to bowl you out twice or we're going to take advantage of over conditions and things like that. So it's an interesting kind of mindset that they're taking to it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not their first epic
Yeah.
win chasing. Obviously,
Well, no, no.
this game. When was it? 3 years ago, the delayed fifth test of that particular series. At the same ground, Edgbaston. Chased even further, 378, but with Bairstow and Root getting tons in that second innings, and New Zealand in 2022 as well, similar thing. So Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, Stokes and the team they couldn't care less about the target. It's it was inevitable, wasn't it, that with the run chase, especially when Zach Crawley and Ben Duckett put on 100 and what was it 160, 180 in the for the first week of partnership. 188 it was. Um, once you break the back of it of any sort of chase, particularly that sort of that large sort of target. I mean that makes a huge difference as proven.
yeah. I mean, they turned into like an English Langer and Hayden in that kind of final innings, and so just just once they kind of put on 180 for the first wicket, and it's like chasing 370. It's like that's such a huge. You're halfway there already. We're still with 9 wickets left after that first
Yeah,
wicket's
yeah, yeah.
fallen, and that's such a different challenge for those guys coming in because it's if there's that same pressure. It's like you're not look chase. You know, having another 180 to worry to kind of look to tick off is a whole lot different than coming in like early in the first few overs against Bumrah. Because then
Yeah.
it's kind of neutralised a lot of Bumrah's effect as well. And it's like so it's just having a good opening partnership. And to be fair, it's like Zach Crawley's had a lot of critics, and I think I would probably be one of them a lot of the
Mm,
time.
yeah.
But he played really well, and they looked like that the the England Open's kind of taken a little bit more an intelligent approach about it, and just saying,
Yeah,
you know what,
absolutely. Yeah.
we're prepared to see off Bumrah, the main threat, get the other guys on, attack
Mm.
them. So I think Ben Duckett he even left a couple. I think in the last
Two in a
test,
row,
didn't he?
mate. Two in a row.
I
I
know,
mean, I couldn't believe what I was
I
seeing.
know. It's one of them. You just go, what just
Yeah,
happened there?
it's like
He just left.
it's the opposite of like say Alistair Cook or Michael Atherton hitting a six. It's like the complete opposite of what you expect of a particular opener.
Exactly. Super Dom Sibley trying to scoop one over his head. No, but he's just got a triple
Sure, I
hundred.
was going to say he might have done that last
Yeah,
couple of days,
yeah,
striking at a strike about
yeah,
60. Fucking hell, go on, Sibbers.
yeah,
But anyway, so yeah, I mean, you mentioned Crawley, the sort of batting within himself, which is the key of any partnership really. If your mate like Ducky, who's just like, and it's been said last few days, rightly so, he's got to be one of the best all format batters in the world. Obviously, there's a few less now, and obviously
yeah,
Cody's
for
retired
sure,
from
man.
Test and Rohit Sharma, etc. And but still, but even just in Test cricket, I'll just say at the moment the way he's performing, especially when he's opening up, down the ground as well. He's always been very strong, square the wicket with his sweeps and etc. But he's hitting in the V. He's getting better all the time. So it's like he's at the moment. I mean, I'm going to jinx it now. He's going to get a golden duck on
They've
Wednesday.
done
He's
it
going to
now,
he's going to get
Westy.
he's going to
They've
get a
done it
king.
now.
He's going to get a king pair, isn't he? But he looks when he's playing like when he's playing like he did on that last day. He looks unbowlable too.
He's, as you say, I think he's evolved and he's kind of added to his game. It's like he's not just kind of like he's not a one-trick pony. He's got the ability to kind of access all areas of the ground. He's like a 360 player, so he can hit the ball straight, and he's got the sweeps, and he's got the cut and the dab kind of down to third man. He can like extra cover and off his legs.
Yeah,
He looks secure against the short ball as well. So he doesn't at the moment. He doesn't look to have an obvious weakness, but you never know. It's the true test for him will come in the winter, playing on Australian pitches and that. But at the moment, he looks in supreme form,
yeah.
and
Well,
even yeah. So it's all looking good at the moment. But as you say, we probably just cursed him.
probably
So
just yeah, exactly. Yeah, but yeah, we're doing this
yeah,
up previewing the
yeah.
third test. We're going, God, what were we talking about? But
Why did we just say that?
yeah, yeah, yeah. But I think like I mean, even at our club cricket level, Cam, I mean, like if you're in form particularly as a batter, you've got to make, especially in this sunshine, you've got to make hay while the sun shines to make the most of your good form
Yeah,
because it will go. As we know, as any Test cricketer will know, like if it will go eventually. So you need to make the most of it.
exactly right. In the very best kind of only succeed like 30% of the time when they go out to the middle.
Yeah,
You know, so it's like it's about when you get in, you have to make it count. And Ben Duckett's doing exactly that at the moment. You know,
Mm.
he's been ruthless when he's out there, and he's kind of and so he's like, what more to
Yeah,
there's
no,
more of the same place. Yeah,
yeah. Well, it'd be nice to hear more the same from Ollie Pope as well. He had hit a fantastic century. That's his second in the row. Obviously, he got one against Zimbabwe, but this is the real test against Jasper Brummer in particular. And yeah, he got England off to a great start, and nice. And what was nice about obviously we spoke about him before the series started, but his ability at number three, he's we both questioned it as good a player as he is, but I think the way he played it with that 106, I think it's been a while since I've seen him bat like that, where he's not as fidgety, he was frenetic at the crease. He just looked really calm and composed and let the ball come to him. And he didn't have to try too hard, and
yeah,
he still struck at a strike rate of 77.
yeah. I think he's, I think he's had his doubters and thinking. I think he's, I'm delighted to be proven wrong by him. So, and
Yeah, same.
he looked to kind of found a method early on to get in, and so Headingley is one of them grounds. If you get in, it's very fast scoring, especially if there's no cloud cover ahead and it's dry. That can be absolutely lightning now. So you can score. He's beat the outfield and you can score pretty quickly. And the fact of the matter is, it's like he didn't seem to get out of his bubble. He wasn't trying anything particularly fancy or kind of outrageous. He was just playing good cricket shots, good strong cricket shots in his areas,
Hmm.
and just stuck to a game plan. And then you say he still scored at a decent rate,
Yeah,
and he didn't have to try and force anything. And so yeah, so he's well, he's at least kind of nailed down the conversation for at least the end to the end of the series, shall we
yeah,
say? Yeah.
yeah. No,
So I dare
absolutely.
say a couple more, gets a couple of low scores now and then. But you might get some people pipe up again, going, well, can he do it down under and all that? So is he long term? I think he needs to back it up to kind of absolutely kill that conversation off. But he started in the best way possible. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Long
again,
may it
more of the
continue.
same.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, let's talk about India
Yeah,
quickly. Obviously, you mentioned about their collapses, which, as you rightly said, was one of the key factors in them losing the
yeah,
first test at Edinley. But they had some real positives, though. The top order, the batting, really shone through. Rashant Pant getting twin hundreds, fantastic. Shubman Gill, you rightly said, in hindsight now that he'd get some runs as captain, and we'll see whether that continues the rest of the series. But he got a ton, his first innings as a skipper, which is great for him. And then the openers, Dricewell in the first innings, KL Rahul in the second innings. So, yeah, batting wise, they seem to be on fire at the moment. It's just their bowling, not only with the bat, but with actually the ball in hand. Apart from, obviously, Brummer was excellent in that first innings. And, the backup bowlers did, Thakur, in particular, got a couple of wickets in the second innings, and Krishna as well. But Krishna was going over six and over. So I mean, so, some concerns for India, especially for the rest of the series, especially if Bumrah is not going to play all the games. Scheduled to only play three at the moment, so it's surely they've got to look at that as something to improve. Whether they'll make changes for the second test coming up. But what did you think of India? What do you make of their
yeah.
bowling? What have they got to do to get back in the series?
Um, I think they're really missing Mohammed Shami at the moment
Oh
because
yeah, I was thinking that I was thinking that as well during the first test.
yeah, as you stick him in there with Bumrah and you have Siraj there as the third bowler with someone like Shakur or Krishna as kind of like that fourth seamer. That looks a very different attack.
Yeah,
So you know, Shami and Bumrah with a new ball is that's up there with some of the best attacks in world cricket. But you say they look a little bit light with in the terms of their seam bowling at the moment. It's like who can back up Bumrah to kind of create that kind of pressure and wicket taking threat, as you say. It's like Krishna went a better run of ball. It's like and the others were probably around between 4 and 5 and over.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like you can't build pressure, and it's like part of wicket taking in test matches is build up of pressure to kind of force the batter into a shot and making a mistake. And it's like if they know they can just wait and kind of pick off the bad balls and all that, they're naturally going to score 4, 5, 6 and over. So I think so I think a lot of it is going to depend on the type of surface that they're going to come up with, going to be playing on. It's like, because I think they would like to get they'd like to get another spinner in there. I think someone like
Called it
I
Yadav.
think it's Washington called it Yadav, or is it Washington Sundar is
Washington
also in the
Sundar.
squad?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's like someone like him. It's like off spinner can bat as well. When it's like just gives him a little bit length in the tail, and it's also he's a more than handy bowler. Jadeja, but yeah, he wasn't able to do his kind of normal kind of bottling up at an end. Kind of really kind of apply that pressure.
Well, it took him a few overs to bowl it in the footmarks. It's like, once he started doing that, he looked a different bowler, didn't he?
Exactly. I mean, he's a world class spin bowler. So he's if a surface starts kind of looking like it's really dry and it'll start crumbling and start spinning, he comes into the game and he's going to be a handful, especially in that fourth innings. So I think it's going to if the surface for this next game is looks like it's going to be more seam friendly, or it doesn't look like it's going to break up, then I would make England's attack to kind of be more penetrative on it. But if it's something akin to what they've just played on, but if it looks like it's going to be like a normal kind of test pitch that's going to kind of degrade over the days, I think it becomes a much more even game. So, and I think a lot will depend on. It's unsure at the moment whether Bumrah is going to play back-to-back tests.
Yeah, so that's the key. That's the key thing, isn't it?
Huge.
Yeah,
yeah.
Well, if I was Gambia and the selectors, I'd play Bumrah, because if he doesn't play, and England's record at Edgbaston's pretty good anyway, very good actually. And I don't think India have got a great record. I'm not sure if I got that correct, but I don't think they've got the best record at Edgbaston, India. So if it all goes to how history is a fair reflection of the future, say England go 2-0 up, and the series is pretty much, very likely to be over. Do you know what I mean? So I suppose they might have to play Bumrah in this second test.
I think they have to. So they've got. I think they've got to try and get back into the series early.
Well, exactly. Yeah.
You can't be chasing. You can't be 1-0 if you're 1-0 down with 3 to go, and then in going into those last 3, knowing you've got to win 2 out of 3, and if you're 2-0 down, then you got to win all 3. So then that puts even more pressure on Bumrah at the back end of the series. Thinking he has to play then, but if you can get a game out of him now for this Edgbaston test, and if they can strike back, level the series up, then maybe they can afford to kind of say you have the third test off and you come back for 4 and 5 or something like that.
Yeah.
So I think, if I was an Indian selector, you'd be kind of begging him, saying, "So you've got to play this game."
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be different it'd be different if totally. It'd be different if the scoreline was reversed. Say India India bowl England now and then winning. Be a totally different conversation. But results are they're the currency, aren't they? So okay, let's talk about England. Obviously, they've done the usual under Stokes and McCullum have named their team early. It's unchanged from the first test. Obviously, the headline news was Jofra Archer was Recalled to the Test squad for the first time in over 4 years, which is amazing. Obviously, we know his
Yeah,
injury record has been absolutely heartbreaking to see, but he's been bowling quite a lot this year in the T20s. He played for Sussex last week in the county championship, which is great to see. He took a wicket. I think he bowled 18 overs, I think, across his couple of spells, which
yeah,
is really good.
yeah.
So, but obviously England have decided to keep the same starting 11. So what are your thoughts, Kat, on obviously Archer's obviously call up, but and obviously the fact that England have gone with the same 11?
Yeah, I was. I mean, it's a great thing to see him back playing red ball cricket again. I was a little bit unsure about him being called up for the second test because I was just obviously he played the championship game for Sussex. He bowled 18 overs in like one innings, and so I think though was it up at Durham, and I think they only bowled in one inning. So he's
Yeah,
kind of
that's right.
he didn't quite get that sort of seeing whether he's able to kind of back it
Yeah,
up like
the following
over a
day. Yeah,
couple of days,
yeah,
which is kind of what some of them Australian pitches, it's like they turn into roads, and it's like if you kind of bowl a spell up 2 or 3 spells a day over a
mm,
couple and for a couple of days. So I think he could have. I think ideally, I think he should get another red ball game in him just to kind of see if he's got that in his body, got some miles in his legs and that. Um, so I think they probably brought him into the squad to kind of look at him, and so the coaches can have a close look at him and see like how he's holding up and like how he is in himself and that. And I think it's sensible they didn't pick him for this game
yeah,
because
yeah,
you don't want to rush him too soon. So and thinking looking at this round of championship games as well, it's probably a good thing he didn't play in the championship. Seeing some of them scores going around the counties,
Well, thank God they weren't playing Surrey. The way that all that I think four of their batters have got tons, I think, or maybe even
oh
more.
geez,
Yeah,
oh that's yeah. It's like when you're seeing like Worcestershire racking up like nearly 700 or whatever. It's
yeah,
just like
yeah,
there's and it's like he could have been flogged into the ground bowling huge amount of overs, you know. So I think it's a good thing that he's had this break, and I think it just gives him a little bit of time to do some kind of like build up, build up a little bit more. And I think they're looking to bring for that third test.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I think that's a sensible timeline. So I think they've kind of, I think it's a good thing that they've not picked him for this test. And I think the guys who were there will probably they've earned the right to kind of stay in the side. And so
Yeah.
I was it's interesting to see they didn't kind of there wasn't another seam bowling back up there as well as Archer. So kind of
They've,
so
they've,
they had
they've
the
still got
option to
this.
kind of swap
They've
out.
still got Jamie Overton in the squad. He's still there from the
Yeah,
first test.
yeah, yeah. So obviously Bryden Cast has kind of pulled up okay. So I think because he's the one, he's at that attack, he's the quickest, and he's the one that's kind of like hit the pitch, kind of that's kind of going to put in those spells. So I think if anything, he was probably going to be the one that made way.
Yeah, yeah,
Because I think if you win a game in that manner, I think you've earned the right to stay on the side. So I think I've got absolutely no qualms with the team that picked
yeah. No,
for this
exactly the
test.
same. Yeah, and exactly. I think I mean, England. We've said it before, today, but like England won and can play even better. I think like Wokes is
Yeah,
still coming back from. That was only his second game of the season, I think, because he played in that England Lions game against India A, and obviously didn't play the first test. This will be his
yeah,
third game, so as we know, he gets better the more games he plays. And obviously, Carson, it was his first time in tests anyway, opening the bowling. I think he acquitted himself pretty well. Tongue, obviously
yeah,
cleaned up the tail, but I think he'll obviously improve against the top order batters. And then Ben Stokes, he's encouraging bowling spells this summer that are continued, especially in that first
yeah,
inning. So yeah, I think they've got every right to go at it again. And yeah, I think, and so no point rushing Archer back. I mean, he's got good memories of playing at Lords as well. Obviously, that the World
yeah,
Cup final, obviously bowled the super over fantastically, and obviously that epic spell against Steve Smith in the Ashes that year as well. So he's got good memories, Archer. So that wouldn't be a bad place for him to make his Test comeback at the home of cricket.
Ah, definitely, definitely. I think yeah, as I say, it's a lot of positive memories there. Hitting Steve Smith on the edge. I think a lot of it. I think a lot of English supporters are kind of happy with that at the time. But yeah, yeah. So I think I think England sectors, I'd agree. Yeah, the England sectors have been sensible with him. It's like not getting carried away with it, and just kind of just easing back into it. So I think they've been very meticulous with their planning over the past couple of years to ease
Yeah.
him back into the and kind of get you know
Just
started with T20 cricket, played some one dayers and stuff like that. So
yeah.
just keep building it up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and just getting back in the test fold again. Even just like I'm sure he'll, I mean, I'm sure Sky will cover it over the next few days. But like, taking part in the warm ups and maybe bowling at lunch and the nets on the outfield, all that kind of stuff. So just to build his loads up, that way as well. I'm sure that will,
yeah.
I'm sure that will definitely help. I'm sure he would appreciate that rather than as you say, bowling with a. Is it? I don't know, is it a Kookaburra round again? But or whatever it
It
is, and
feels like a Kookaburra ball by
yeah, it
looking
feels
at the
like it, doesn't
scores. Yeah,
it? And especially the
yeah.
weather. I'm sure he'd prefer trundling it in on the outfield rather than bowling 20 overs in an innings for no reward. Um,
Oh
so-
God, yeah,
all right. Well, I think yeah. I mean, it's hard to obviously predict because we don't know about the pitch or whatever, and we don't know India's lineup. But I think the way especially England played Bumrah in the second innings, even if he does play, I don't think there's really a obviously bowled well first innings, but I mean the way he didn't get a wicket in the second innings because they played him so well, especially crawling Duckett at the top of the order. So I think if England,
yeah,
despite not playing at their best, still won the match. So I think I think it could be a similar story potentially on the for this second test.
yeah. I think so. It's like Edgbaston. I think it can be quite similar to Headingley in a way. So if there's some cloud cover overhead, it can do a little bit, and I think that, and again, I think you can be a decent batting deck, especially I think generally if the openers kind of get through that first hour, not like the England openers kind of just kind of look to survive the first morning or whatever. They look to kind of whack
Yeah,
the shine off the ball. But yeah, it generally as a batting team at Edgbaston, you get through the first hour there, and then then you can look to cash in. It's like county scores there this year have looked, it's looked like generally a decent batting surface there. So
yeah,
you'd
yeah,
expect it, if anything, the pitches tend to kind of improve a little bit for test matches more. So you'd expect it to be a good batting surface. You expect it to kind of go. Oh yeah, at least 4 days. And I think at the moment, yeah, I would say England are probably. Momentum's a massive word in cricket these days. I think
oh
England
yeah,
have
yeah,
got the momentum now, haven't they?
definitely.
So I think I think at the moment they're just edging it. I think they've got the better bowling attack at the moment as well. So, but who knows?
Who
Who
knows,
knows
mate?
what can happen?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. England are probably just marginal favourites this game, I would say.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. Lovely. Right, well, I think we covered everything
Yeah,
there, Kat. So let's hopefully it's another excellent test match like it was in the first one. Right, well, thanks everyone for
yeah.
watching. Thanks everyone for watching. Subscribe if you're new. Let us know your thoughts down below. And we'll see you on the next video. All the best. Bye for now.
Cheers, all. See ya.